Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
We'll discuss a topic called as an info record. What does it mean by info record? Info record is like latest prices of particular material and vendor combination. In combination, we will maintain it. For example, each material with respect of each vendor, we are maintaining the price of the particular material is called as an info record. Generally, the info records are four types. First one is a standard info record. And second one is a subcon info record. And third one is consignment info record. And the fourth one is pipeline info record. The way of working of the info record is same for whatever it may be like. It is a standard info record or subconducting or consignment. It is the same. But what is the difference when we have the different kinds of the info records here? In the standard info records, generally we are using at all the levels, like when you are procuring the material. You give an order and you receive the order and you are doing the payment for this material. In these kind of scenarios, what we will do is we will maintain the price. Then, in case of the normal procurements, we are maintaining the standard info record. But if you are going for the special procurements like subconducting, in subconducting process, what we are doing, we will provide a raw material to the subcontracting vendor and we will ask the final product of this material. Here we are maintaining the components prices. That maintenance, we will call it as a subcontracting info record. Similarly, consignment and pipeline. Like each different kinds of the process, we are using the different info records here. In the singular, like a pipeline. Also, we are using the different info record. This is about how we are differentiating the info records. And what are the configurations we will do here? Similarly, info record we have, like we are defining the number ranges. Second, we have the predefined document types. Document type IL and IN1 is stock material, another for the non-stock material document. What is the stock of material document type? Stock of material. What are the materials we have? Generally, any material if it is an inventorizer. Inventorizer means you are updating the quantity in the evaluation levels. That we will call it as a stock materials. Non-stock materials means we are not making an inventory. For that particular material is called as a non-stock materials. This is the we are maintaining and like the certificates, inspection certificate category. Inspection certificates, like for example, you have one material. For example, you are procuring some material, that material you call it about the. Some like you are using this material for the farmer or something. That material will have the expiry. Generally, this kind of situations we are facing in the food industries or computer industries or pharma industries generally. This kind of materials, whenever you procure this one, then you need to take compulsory the material validity and the material certificate number. In these cases, what we will do? We will define one certificate category. That is called as how we define the certificate category, how we can maintain. If you want to like, we can exclude that one also. Next is a price history. Price history here, like whenever we are procuring this material, we want like raw material or like, sorry, if it is any material, which kind of price you want. You want like a brass price or you want a dead price. Dead price means actual prices. Gross price means including all the taxes. If you want, you can accurate this effective prices also. These configurations we are maintaining at the info regard levels. Let's see. SPR Defense IMG Material Management. Purchasing again exchange purchasing for the card. Here we need to define the number of days. You can come here. You can change out here. Here we have. First of all we need to do is we need to create some group here. I will create some phone group. Then I maintain the number range is A1. 2000 to 2999 and maintaining the number. I'm thinking on the same. First I define the number ranges. Once this number ranges is done here, already there is a two types of the material groups. Document types for the inforical. One is a stock material. Another one is a non-stock material. What we need to do is just select this. Select this one. Select that one. And which group you want to maintain. I want to maintain first stock, material to afford and non-stock also. Like for the two different document types, if you want the single number range, then both you need to assign to under this one. Or if you want like a different document types, like different number ranges for the stock material and the different number ranges for the non-stock material, then what you need to do is you need to just assign two different number ranges. Like you need to create one more group and you need to assign. If you want both should be same, select this one, assign and group and maintain this one. All these document types is linked to this group. This is about how we are creating the number ranges. Next is a refine screen layouts. Generally, this screen layouts here we are using for the importances like what is a field like in the creation of PR or change of PLR. Which field you want the required entry, which field you want optional entry, which field you want to display. In that purpose, we are using this screen layouts here. Here you have all those things wherever you think. You just make it optional entry here. For practice purpose, we make everything as an optional entry, but it depends on the requirements. Like a business told, for example, and feel they want a required entry when they are creating the when they are creating the info regard, then you need to come over here and you need to select this one. This is about how we can define the screen layouts. Next is a inspection certificate category. Now, this is what I told you like. If you want some certificate, for example, I have certificate 1. When I'm preparing this material, I needed these. Two things are mandatory, like a check certificate date and check certificate number. If you want a country, also like which country this material belongs to. If you check this button when you are creating the info regard, if you are activate this one, what will happen? System will ask always. Let's see. This is certificate number. How we are making. And next is defined price. If you want, like what kind of price you want, or net price, or you want effective price. If you want effective price, you need to select this one. If you don't want it, you want the net price, only then you need to unselect this one. This is a configuration we need to do for the info records. Next, how you create the info record. There is a time machine for policy. Then we'll see. MKBZ is one of the report for the vendor. What is the report for the materials? To see the list of materials. What we have created before. There is one report. You can see list of materials. What is that report? Which is MM60. That is a report for generally. You want to see the list of all metals. You can see by the M60. And if you want to see like vendors, then it is a record called as a MKV chart. You can see the list of vendors here. I will make a setting and What is our material? Here we need to select the standard one. Here, if you see generally the material and vendor, these all things are displayed. You are not able to change all those things. And if you see the purchase order from where it will be flow, it is flow from the material master. If you maintain your material like reminders and all those things, it will be drawn from the material master. Whatever the fields, is there respect to the materials and the vendor fields that will be auto populated here from the material and vendor master. And here if you see certificate category, for example, I want my certificate category is 1, then you can see system will ask what is a certificate category 1 and it will be asked to validate until when it is validated. It will be asked all those things. Next year plan and delivery time. If I order a material, how many days it will take to supply this material? 5 days. What is the standard quantity? It's around 100 quantity. What is the standard price? The net price is 10 rupees. If you maintain this 100 delivery tolerance from the material master, it will be flown here. This GR base or IR tick from where it is flown, it's flown from the vendor master. Like you can find different data from the different masters. Select this one, click on enter. Click on enter and click on save. Now you see now whatever the number range we maintain 2000, it will be created. If you create one thing, also it will be create another. Info tot. This is how we will create the standard info. For the same combination, also you can create the sub contracting info. Just you need to change that one. Same process. Same process. Same process, same data, everything is same. System will understand like if you do that process automatically, it will be picked the respect of the info repair. Now you can see L is identified, which is a sub-contracting item category. This is about how we can create the different kinds of the info records. And if you want to change the info, repair, what is the transaction code? Transaction is me. Here, if you want to change anything, you can change. For example, I want to order as a minimum quantity, then I can change it over here. This is about how you are changing. And Me13, generally we use it for the display of the material. Here, you won't change anything, just only to see the display of this material. And there is a transaction code called Me15. Generally, we are using Me15 for the deletion of the material. If you want to delete this material, you will use like a complete info record. You want to delete or purchase organization level. You want to delete where you want to delete. That information be able to see in the Me15 level. If you want to delete at purchase organization level, you just make it that one. Automatically, the indicator will be updated. If you want to undelete, you just come and just remove the sticker. This is like how we are using the different info record creation, like with respect to our process, like a standard info record. How we create a contracting info record. How we will maintain and consign. how you will create the different types of the info records and how to create, how to change, how to delete, and how to maintain the subcontracting and bypass same process. All the info record, it is a process is just here. You need to select the button. Remaining, everything is same. The process is set. Next info record can be also created. Now what we created info record respect two of the different process. Wise, we created the info record. Now if you see info record can also create a without material. Till now what we did, we created for the stock material. Stock material means which is updating the value quantity at the plant level. Now I don't have any info record. Standard info record. Now I don't have the material. Can I create the info record? In this case, just we need to give the description and material group is mandatory when you are creating without material info record. What is a plain delivery times? All the things, everything is. You need to maintain that one. That change. Just you can enter and save. Now the info record is created to the Lehman. If you see like this also, this way also we can create the info record with the material. This is about the concepts about the info record. You're clear. Next, the data info record data will be stored in the tables. What are the tables? Let's see 16. In a info record data, or else we will go with C16. In and for example, you want to make it as a created arm today. You click on execute. Whatever the info records are created today, all the information you will be able to see in 2009. And the organization level you want to see. For example, Ford, how many created? This many info records are created for the Ford. You can see in the purchase organization level how many info records are created. ENA is a general data. EINA is for the organization data. What are the D codes? Create an info record. Change. This way. This way. In feed. Delete. In. This way. Organization data. These are the like different levels here, utilizing the tables. If you are clear, then we are going for the next topic. SMOPIC. Now see material and vendor, only the big topics remaining. Everything is small topics. Next, we are going to discuss about the source system. What is meant by source system? It will be maintained. List of materials. List of materials. List of vendors. List of vendor details. We are maintaining particular material. That information will call it as a source list. Generally here and the source list we are maintaining in that combination. For the source list also, we have the configuration. This can be maintained at two levels. What are those? One is a plant level and another one is a material level. If you maintain the plant level, the source list, what is happening? All the materials in the particular plant, then we need to activate the source list. If you don't want activated plant level, if you activate the plant level, all the materials like irrespective of the raw materials, we finished everything. You need to make it a source list to be activated. But you don't want to that. And if you want, for some particular materials only, I want to activate the sources. I don't want to activate some of the remaining thing. At that time, what we need to do is we need to activate the sources to add the material level. Let's see how we do this configuration. Purchasing define source list. Define source list at a material level. For example, if you will activate the source list at this plant level, what will happen? It will be activated for all the plants. Generally, we won't activate the source list at the plant level. Then, where we activate the source list at, we will activate source list at the material level. Go to. Just click on enter. I've come here. And here we need to activate the source list. The tick mark is enough. Just we need to make it as a tick mark and click on the save. Then we need to run the source list. We will run before that. What is a prerequisite of the source list? The prerequisite of the source list. If you have the info record, data will be fetched from the info record or else contract. Or else it will be fetched from the contract. How we will maintain the source list? Year 1 is a transaction port. There you maintain material and a vendor. And click on enter. And enter. Then you just click on the execute button. Whatever the info record is here, everything will be updated over here. Now you can see we have the info. Records exist for this vendor and this vendor. Automatically the details are updated in the source list. This is like how we are maintaining the source list. Here this one. And this source list information will be stored in the table called as a e-road. It is a table. It is a table. And the table is e-word. You can enter and just enter the plan. You can see all the data. Whatever the materials will have the source list, that information, you can see it over here. We can see. Whatever the data will be stored in the source list, the same thing will be updated over here. This is about the source list of how we are maintaining. This is about the master data. Basically, we have the 4 types of the master. One is a material master. Another one is an info record. Vendor master and info record and source list. This is like how we are handling the masters. Next is transaction data. What kind of transaction data we have? What are the different types of the transaction data? Generally, the transaction data will include purchase requisitions and request for quotations and purchase orders and contracts and scheduling agreements. This all data will come under the transaction data. Apart from that, some of the material moments also we can consider as a transaction data here. Before that, let's understand the procurement cycle. Do you know what is mean by procurement cycle? Once create an order, you can purchase. Just a faster process. But I don't get it. That process, we'll call it as a procurement process. Generally, how the procurements will be start. If you have the material, like if you have the production plan, generally any material will contain the production plan. For example, I want an material. There is a 2 ways of creating the requirement. What is a requirement? Purchase. Purchase. It can be 2 ways it will be created. Once you run the MRP material requirement planning, we just kind of material. Or direct creation. Two levels like RPRs can be created. If you talk about the like a business terminology, like whenever a business or production guy is not able to find any material for the stock, what they will do generally, they will raise a request to the purchasing department, which is called as a PR, purchase request. Not only production, any department. Any department can be raised to anyone. That is called as a purchase request. It is an internal request. It is not for the external order. It is an internal order from one department to another department. One department to another department. You raise a request. What will happen once you raise an internal request? The purchasing team, they will look into that request. If they know this material from where we can purchase, at that time, what they will do? They will raise immediately order, which is called as a purchase order from the purchase order to the respective of the vendor if they know whom they will raise. Once there is a purchase order, and then order will be sent to the vendor. Vendor supplies the materials and we will do the goods receipt. Once the goods receipt is done, then we will do the payment. This is one kind of cycle. Once it is done, this is like end of the story. And if you don't know any vendor like whom you need to procure this material and all those things, then what purchasing department will do is they will raise a request for quotations. Like when you need to procure this material, they will ask the different people for the bidding. Then different vendors will provide the bidding information. Then request for quotations is collected and compared. And what they will do is they will select the one on the request for quotations and they will reject the remaining quotations. Once the request for quotation is created, what will you do? They will raise a purchase order to the vendor with respect to the request for quotations. This is our lecture 1, and once we raise the order to the vendor, vendor will supply to us back and we will send the order information to the vendor. Vendor supply the material. We will take the material and we will do the payments. This is important for one thing. And if you know the vendor and you want to go for the long-term agreement with and price, at that time what we will do? We will ask the contract like a long-term agreement with the end supplier. Once we ask order, like once we take the contract from the end vendor, what the vendor will do? Vendor give the contract to us and we will maintain the contract with the reference of the contract. Again, we will raise the orders. Order will be sent to the vendor. Vendor will send the stock and we will receive the stock and we will do the payment to the vendor. These are the different cycles of how you are maintaining the price. How you are making the PO and how you are doing the goods receipt and how you are doing the payment of the particular thing. There is process. We will call it as a procurement to pay. How it can be like once you know the PR, then you will use a PO with respect to the goods receipt, then you do the IR. You create the PO, you create the FQ protection, maintenance, protection, comparison. And the PO creation, GR creation, IR creation. Then your PO, then you have a contract. Once you have a contract, you will raise PO. PO to GR, GR to IR. Or directly you can create that the PO, you can do the G, R, you can do the I, R. Or you can create PO existing PO with reference to PO, then do the GR, then do the IR. These are the different process of making the procurement process like. These are the different details we are maintaining in the process wise. That all the transition data now we need to see. Here we will understand for each document like a P, R. What are the documents that we need to use? What is the number ranges? What are the fields we need to consider like a required entry, manual entry or optional entry? Like a configuration and how we need to make it. That kind of information we need to see in the purchase requisitions. Similarly for purchase order, how to do the document type configuration, number ranges, screen selections. Then you learn how to create the purchase requisitions, how to create the purchase order individually and how to create the purchase order with reference to some other document. That kind of the concepts you will learn in the transaction data. Now we'll start a purchase requisition. What is a purchase requisition? It is an internal request or instruction will be department from another department for the procurement of the materials. What are the control functions of PR? We have the document type and the account assignment category. Account assignment category and the item category. Now we'll see what is the control function. How do we control the document type? Now there are three control functions for all the transaction data. One is a document type and another one is a account assignment category and another one is item category. What controls the document type? Generally, the document type controls the type of procurements. What kind of procurement? You want to differentiate for each different types of the business process. You want to agree with the different processes, then document type plays a key role, and which also controls the number ranges and the screen sequences. How it will be? Controls the number ranges, screen sequences will. I'll show you when we are doing the configuration for this document type. Next is account assignment category generally. Account assignment category which will control the procurement to be assigned to particular gels. If you do the consumption, then you will use a content assignment category. If you have asset procurement, then you will use as a key. Like that. Each type, like each different type of procurement, you handle the different risks. That also, we can see it over here like our account assignment category. Next is item category. Generally, item category deals about the type of procurement. Like it is a service procurement or it is a content assignment. It is a subcontracting procurement. That details, we are able to deal with that. We will see how this document type controls the purchase requisition, the condensation controls, how it will be controlled, and item category. These are the control functions for all the transactions. All the transactions that are available. Can be controlled by this document: type of conductance, category, item category, which will control this entire things. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.